society in Gurgaon, and they use something called Society Connect, which is a communication tool from RWA and facility management to the residents. It includes all the aspects from paying for your electricity meters to notification and circulars on COVID and precautions. Uh, so I think it is making the whole living experience a little seamless, bit more communicative. And on the commercial side, us and there are other platforms also which talk of bringing in efficiency, which and also easing out the pressure which community manager or the admin manager used to have.
I want to come to you, Vikas. Uh, so we are in a socially distant, zero-touch world,
Yeah.
and tech is where we all connect.
Right.
Where it's helping us tide through this phase. Tell me, how are you using tech to reboot? What is the case study from your side?
Definitely. So, Roel, before I talk about the our brand using technology, this part, I would slightly take a liberty of I'll take the liberty of taking a couple of minutes and talk about
Absolutely.
technology more. The best thing which has come out of this situation, the whole scenario, is that we have started looking at technology as the front-facing thing, right? uh, E-commerce companies, a lot of tech startups have been pumping in a lot of whole amount of money just to make people adapt to the technology, and that shift has been very exponentially fast now, right? You would actually observe that things have been, people have been placing orders online, buying everything is happening online. Tech has taken a lot of shift and things like that, right? Now coming to our part, so if you're talking about commercial real estate, it has 3 to 4 different pillars. The first thing is the discovery part. How do you actually go and write the right kind of property for yourself? That's the discovery part. The second part is, once you have the discovery done, that the next thing which takes place is transaction, right? The property closer and everything, things like that. The third part would be where we actually come into the picture, is slightly about design and build, that how you design your space and sort of, you get the contracting done in that part. And the fourth bit would be property management and anything which enables you to manage the property in right sense, right? So everywhere there have been a lot of startups working towards using technology and giving better consumer experience and things like that. But now is the time, I think, people will take a shift and definitely look at the technology as the front facing, as I said, and this will change the entire game. If you are not digital, your product or services is not properly digitized, when it comes to
Right.
commercial real estate, it's actually very difficult to sell now, so coming to my personal brand experience, so we have been using virtual reality as a tool, as a very powerful tool to to engage with customers and helping them with interior design and build part. I'm sure this technology is now act as a boon for us as a brand.
Nitin, your quick thoughts on this?
So, as I already said that we too have proactively worked to manage the social distancing aspect within our delivery model. We have always been a COVID compliant organization and have the provision to provide extended safety space, hygiene desk space within the private workspace layout. So we, very few people knows that it's not about our service delivery to the clients. Very few people know that my branch only is into the services, but my branch has a very strong arm called operations, called property scouting. We do a very deep dive study on a property layout to ensure all compliant guidelines. Very few people know that we have such an exhaustive list of compliances which we undertake, and we do our due diligence to ensure all these forthcoming issues to be addressed. We have stationed our branch head, our branch manager at each branch to ensure the safety, the hygiene, the sanitation. And we never leave, we never outsource such critical operations to anybody. Moreover, our website is not an information website. Our website is an action website. It is always showing the real-time updates on very important and critical aspect of fumigation, sanitation, branches updates, or they are getting up, and what kind of activity we are undertaking, that kind of complete visibility to the clients. And that is how we have sustained in the long term and fruitful relationship with our clients. That trust and that transparency which we have created, this is like the legacy which we have created and inherited from Narayan Bhargava Group, which is in the DNA of Narayan Bhargava Group.
Perfect. Son, I want to come to you. Your space is a little different, So the question for you is, how are you trying to create, family-oriented, family-friendly, seamless experiences through technology to monitor, the entire space, for example, that you have, that you manage? How are you using technology in your case?
So first off, I would like to share an interesting trend we are observing, can be useful to my peers here. Quite a few communities are using their common space, they are changing their common space like party hall and all that to co-working space, right? So I know of one such community who's a customer, TVS, so TVH
Sorry.
property in. Yes, Rohel?
We're losing the connection we're losing the connection in
Oh,
between.
I'm sorry. I
No,
think,
we can
yeah.
hear her.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
All right. Yeah. Yes. So that's something interesting we are seeing. Actually, there are quite a few builders who have created the residential campus in such a way that there is facility of, working space within the complex itself. Like if you look at Brigade Metropolis in Bangalore, Shantiniketan, of course, is a whole integrated construction. This is something I think we should watch keenly, where work-life balance would mean that having your home close to the office or vice versa, right? And this offers, we all love to be close to home if we, are looking after children or, elderly people and all that. But then we also need change of space, cabin fever, right? So work from home in future may not necessarily mean that you are working out of your bedroom or living room on an extra study or office room, right? It could mean actually a dedicated space, especially in the context of a community living, where you can actually mark out a space like you mark out a gym. You do not all each of us do not buy a treadmill in our house when we have a community gym, right? So business centers, which is quite popular in apartment complexes in Dubai, could also become part of future construction in residential communities, where those of you who are experts in setting up the interiors of these office spaces, it's quite possible that, it would be done in much smaller scale, but in more, regular communities. So that's something that we have noted. Other than, honestly speaking, our product as such does not have much to do with this, the workspace related thing, the work from home related thing. Apart from the fact that in future, if indeed these kind of business centers come up, it would involve booking by the resident, whoever wants to take space there and all that stuff. Probably they will pay the association or the builder who's going to spend on the capex of setting it up and all that stuff. So that is where our product will come in making sure those billing and collection and renting and all that stuff is happening fine. That's something that
Perfect.
I'd like to share.
Diksha,
That
your
is
quick thoughts
actually
about. Yeah,
that's
please.
very good. I just wanted to add, Sohail, what she said. I think it's a brilliant point. That's what we also notice, and this is going to be the shift. When people say work from home, it may not be work from home. It basically means work from anywhere. Now, anywhere could be, a productive remote working environment. It could be a neighborhood co-working space, or it could be within the society, converting some part of the clubhouse into kind of a mini workspace. But work from home is right now the norm because it has been imposed. But going forward, if the corporates, enterprises, they allow a certain part of the team to work from anywhere, which and at the same time not compromise on productivity and the overall monitoring of the work, I think going forward there would be 10 to 15% every company can experiment with productive remote working. And as a platform, this is what we've seen that some corporates have started booking five desk in multiple localities and micro markets on our platform where you don't have to pay a hefty security deposit, long-term agreement, or lock-in period. You just pay as you go. Either you pay on a day basis for a hot desk or you pay on a monthly basis.
Diksha, your thoughts on this, the role of tech in rebooting and, bringing back the business?
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much. That's a very good question. By the way, as every very esteemed panelist, Miss San and Paris, Mr. Paris has already mentioned about remote working and how we can benefit out of it. We should also look into people who are working on the manufacturing area because उनके लिए remote जैसा कुछ नहीं है. उनके लिए अगर हम लैपटॉप पे काम करते हैं, but for manufacturing segment they have to go there, they have to physically present there to get production done. So in order to get those segments correct, we need to make sure कि contactless उनके लिए कैसा काम करे. So for me, if Rohit, you ask me, because me cater all the software industry, we have in-house software, we have in-house hardware, and we have completely made in Bharat infrastructure as far as the hardware is concerned, the PCB and the assembly and everything in India, in Manesar, Gurgaon. So for us, it is very important to have that technology bend, not in terms of like working remotely, but also working in production segment with taking consideration of social distancing and wearing mask, wearing those SOPs, and you don't have to peek there. Is it like, so there are a lot of SOPs that we have to take care, and we should also consider that 75% of actual labor force is working in the manufacturing segment. So we cannot just deny that unhe laptop de do, unhe phone de do, and they can work this way. Technology for them is something that हमारे भारत को वो लोग ज्यादा चलाते हैं, which is श्रमिक. श्रमिक अगर छोड़ के चले गए तो भारत का कुछ भी नहीं चलेगा, which we already know. So this is important कि हम लोग श्रमिक को भी टेक्नोलॉजी इनेबल बनाएं, आत्मनिर्भर बनाएं. कैसे बनाएं, उसमें दो चीजें हैं. पहला, सबसे पहले आप मेरे को बहुत सारे मेरे क्लाइंट्स बोलते हैं, because we have Bosch pan India, we have a lot of customers pan India, we are serving them, but here what happened that they have a monopoly कि मेरे पास ऐसा भी फोन नहीं है. I don't have Android or probably I don't have an Apple phone, but that's a certain restriction. But क्या हम 2 साल बाद नहीं देंगे? So we have to think very, very precise that if we talk about communication, if we talk about making us, AC में बैठ के काम करना is very अच्छा. I mean, it's very good that we are sitting here, we have a laptop, we have a phone, we can call. But let's think about those people, because अगर वो लोग ऊपर नहीं बढ़ेंगे, अगर वो सक्षम नहीं होंगे, तो हमारी business भी चलेगा नहीं. So we need to make them enable first. We need to give them some power, like you can use wristband, some bands which can enable them to create a heat map on your dashboard. Say for example, Nitin ji sitting there, right? वो अपने dashboard पे हम सबका address देख पाएं कि हम लोग कहाँ पे हैं, कैसे हैं. And that terms we enable us as like, okay, we are working as a managers, हम तो enable हैं, but हम उन्हें enable कैसे करें? जब वो enable हो जाएंगे, everybody is enabled and things running in a very good way, which you said in a very straight way, that communication this time अगर हम ये achieve करते हैं, तब हम communication को बहुत strong कर पाएंगे. तो हमें घर में बैठने की जरूरत नहीं है. We can actually work from anywhere. So that's the take as far as the products and communication is concerned.
Paras, to you, can you hear me? So while we are going through this tough, challenging phase of social distancing, not going out, those unlock one is there. How do you, in such a situation, how can you optimize, the workspace? What are you doing to make sure that the space that you have is put to the right use, it delivers the value that you intend it to deliver?
So, for everybody's clarity, I mean, we are a transactional marketplace. We don't own and operate any particular workspace. We are a technology platform where people discover workspaces, and these workspaces are across 52 cities in India. Uh, what how they are optimizing right now is that they are also learning. I mean, one thing which we need all to push is through communication is a confidence in the market and confidence in the fact that you can go to office. Right now the office turnout ratio is very low. A lot of workspaces are in the range of 2% to 10% attendance as far as physical attendance is concerned in the office. I think as the unlock one has happened, I mean, we have seen in Gurgaon people are at the 2 to 4%. I think in next 15 days are important. We need to take a lot of precautions, and people should flock to offices now, and that's how we'll get normal. And my co-panelist, when she mentioned about the real India, so all the technology, all the remote working is for the other side of the GDP. Not, it doesn't pertain to agriculture and manufacturing. They have to go to factories. They are the heroes. they have to manufacture, and we have to overall enhance the consumption. In terms of optimization, which providers are doing, they are maintaining, social distancing. There is no need to change the layout. Like I said, if everyone is in affected in terms of business and cash flows, doesn't make a sense to. That's what we've been advising providers, space providers, that doesn't make sense to redesign the whole thing, because this is a temporary phenomena at the moment. Whether it we have second wave, third wave, it will continue for 6 months or 3 years, it's yet to be evaluated. There is no point in putting capex right now. For another 3 months, wait and watch. Just convert the whole space as per social distancing and government guidelines. So keep a gap between two occupants. So right now, every center overall, by maintaining the gap, would be at a 50% occupancy. And a lot of companies, and it doesn't pertain to only co-working, workspace provider, or any space provider. It is for the company, the occupants also. They also need to maintain 50% kind of attendance. So a lot of people are working in rosters. uh, so at any given point in time for the next 2 3 months, I don't see any space having more than 50% occupant. Second thing, what they're doing is avoiding the meeting, the meeting room usage. They are converting the meeting rooms into workspaces so that they have extra amount of seats. Again, keeping a gap of one desk. So I think at a ground level, without putting in capex, without putting in too much of thought, the best thing forward would be just maintain the social gaps within the office space.
Brilliant. I want to bring in Mr. Pathak here. He has a few questions, and we have another 15 minutes to go. Mr. Pathak, over to you. So yes, mute. It's on mute here.
Thanks, Rohil. Sorry. So I just want to ask one generic question, and I know there are a few entrepreneurs here. I can see 3, 4 entrepreneurs, and I think my question to you is, all of you, and if you could just give one line or two lines on this, because we have got time issues. Now the question is, how are you actually when you talk about working from home? So, and yes, there are options for that for us right now. But do you think that in the coming times it's going to be same for the once everything goes back to normal? Do you think the most of our companies would work from home, and will productivity would be same as it is right now? Because to be very honest, what I feel is that right now, yes, people are working more because they understand there is a problem. We are in this adversity. But coming back is also important. Mental health plays a very, very important role here. So do you think that, in the coming times, it's going to remain same? This is for, as entrepreneurs, if you could answer, or as leaders of different verticals, you guys could answer them. Anybody can take it.
Probably,
Dan can take it, or Paras can take it, anyone.
I can try a shot here. Actually,
Yeah.
these 2.5 months have been very important exercise for us, because we've been in a transaction business where people discover office, they visit, and then they close and experience the office space. Now with this whole work from home, we really did a very very deep study. In fact, a little scientific one, and we came up something called PA, which is a productivity quotient. And it productivity quotient is a function of a lot of factors. One is the infrastructure and environment. Second is your line of work. As a person, I might be in a tech or a product team, or I might be in a sales. It's function of that as well. It is function of the right temperature, right furniture, and then most importantly, the sense of belongingness, the love and energy, which you can't have in office, at home. I mean, the sense of belongingness, or the sense of one purpose or a one goal, a love for the company and colleagues, that is not possible. It is very cold when you, even if on Zoom, when you chat as a team level, it is not there. And finally, there is something which everyone misses, evaluating the productivity, is something called Hawthorne effect. Now, Hawthorne effect is something which, when you're in office, you have that little feeling that someone is watching you, or you've been observed. That enhances your work, and you are part of that routine. In work from home, all these factors have been slightly compromised, a little abused. So in the long run, work from home is not the normal. Remote working in a productive environment can happen. But yeah, there could be certain percentages of team like tech, product, or a very template-based teams. They can work from home. This is my take, but not overall.
Yeah. Okay.
I think I agree,
And
Paras.
yeah, yeah. Please go ahead, Nitin.
Okay, I very much agree to Paras, because definitely it's about the ecosystem, the tangibility factor, the touch and feel of your office walls, that furniture, that chair, the background, that ecosystem. So it's not about working from home, it's about working in a more safe private zone, where you can be productive. Obviously, your focus, your concentration, your energy gets diluted, and that is a very psychological factor which will play a great role. And I think Harvard and Stanford have already started doing a lot of research on it, and they started publishing that what kind of a long-term impact on the business is going to come from this work from home culture. So when it was a very disastrous situation, it was fine, but now we really need to come out of it. And India has always shown the way to the world. So these three C's, Corona, COVID, or cyclone, even cyclone, the three C's cannot defeat India, because India has a very strong P called passion.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of positivity, a lot of optimism. That's nice. Do you want to come in, Diksha? Do you want to talk about
Yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah. So I was just waiting. Thank you so much, Udit. Thank you, Nitin, and thank you for your feedbacks and views on the kind of post-COVID situations. But one thing, like you already mentioned very correctly, post-COVID cannot be the post-normal. I mean, it cannot be the normal way that हम लोग जैसे रहते थे वैसा बिल्कुल नहीं है. और हर चीज का एक pros and cons होता है. That means if I'm working from home, probably I'm saving my traffic time. I'm saving a lot of time if I traveling through Delhi to Gurgaon every day and consuming 2 hours in and out. So I'm saving that hours, right? And a lot of hassles, a lot of traffic. अभी देखिए जैसे COVID situation में है, पर nature को कितना अच्छा लग रहा है. मतलब nature में, so each and everything has a benefit and has a pros and cons, like you mentioned very correctly, Nitin ji. But going ahead, I think future में हमें कंपेरेटिवली ये देखना है कि आजकल जितने भी लोग जो भी प्रकार के टेक्नोलॉजीज यूज कर रहे हैं, पीपल अंडरस्टूड दैट टेक्नोलॉजी प्लेज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल. बट व्हाट, I mean, वो टेक्नोलॉजीज आपकी कहाँ से आ रही है? You are giving those money back to those people who are not from India, and the Indian GDP is again the same. So if we have to grow Atmanirbhar Bharat, if we have to grow that kind of economy again in the, for India and for Bharat, it is very important to go back and check what you're giving back to the society and back to the business. It's very easy to open a business and say, okay, I'm delivering these services, but do you think that money is going back to Shramik, going back to the people and going back to the Indian? Are we creating a lot of jobs? And that's the reason what we have identified a big gap in the manufacturing segment, and we want to close in future and post COVID. And our whole goal is to create our own POS machine. Our whole goal is to create refrigerators, this desh mein bana hua TV, fridge, and all electronics from Bharat, so that one thing, we don't have to give 980 billion crores to China or to other desh, right, and procure some devices. I think this is the time to get a notion of Atmanirbharta and Atmanirbhar Bharat. अगर मोदी जी ने आज बोला है आत्मनिर्भर भारत, वो इसलिए नहीं बोला कि हम कोविड सिचुएशन है और अभी आप पैसा लगाओ. नो, इट्स नॉट दैट. इट्स समथिंग दैट इट विल टर्न अप to make India the next global hit. अगर हम लोग बात करते हैं, scientists and a lot of people go to DRDOs and making sort of innovations, but where are the corporates? Corporates are losing the pace. If we are going everything towards विदेशी कंपनी को हम दे देंगे, चाहे वो API हो, सॉफ्टवेयर हो, या कुछ भी हो, you're using those from those companies. We need to understand that अगर हमें भारत को सक्षम बनाना है, तो भारत में निर्मित products और भारत में create करना होगा software और hardware both. So that's my take. Post-COVID, I think things gonna change. People should have, like Nitin ji correctly said, that Indians में वो जज्बा है हार न मानने का, वो जज्बा है कि we are together, and with this together we fight COVID, of course. And post-COVID is a great things for us, and things are really good after that. Yeah. So thank you, Udit ji.
Okay.
Thanks.
Can I come in between? Quick question.
There are few questions which are coming from people's side, right? So
Yes,
if
yes.
Sohail can ask those.
I want to come to you, San. There's a question from Peter.
Guys, Just want to request panelists and the organizers and the audience that I have another engagement. So I request for leaving this session. It was a great session. And
Thank you, Mr. Paras, for joining us. Thank you so much.
if there are any specific questions to us, to me or QDES, would be happy to take offline. Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye.
you so much.
Thanks, Paras. Thank you.
There's a question from Peter Martis to you, San. He's asking that how can there's a lot of brunt that spaces like yours have witnessed. Uh, is there a long haul you are preparing for, or do you see it a very short-term loss? How are you seeing it? Are you prepared for a long haul in this?
I did not get the question.
So the question is that the way industry is right now, some people are predicting it may last for some time in the space, for example, you're operating in. Are you prepared for that long haul?
Are you talking about SaaS products, technology,
Yes,
software in general?
Yes.
Okay. No, I do not think that, honestly speaking, in technology and specifically in our space, I see more opportunities than setbacks, because people are looking at digitization like never before, right? There are so many, and especially when you think about facility management, right? Traditionally, it has been a very manpower intensive kind of industry. And when you talk about IoT companies, which are talking about, building management system, etc., they've been finding it very hard to break that and make a mark. But I think in the current situation, with the reduction in manpower availability, even in India, so that has been a big problem for India, is that labor is so cheap, people don't look at automation so quickly, right? But now that, the good part of the migrants going back home, and I'm sure they'll come back soon, but in this window, I hope that, the employers will realize that you cannot depend completely on migrant workers and cheap labor. First of all, labor should not be cheap forever. Okay. Secondly, they do need to look at automation. So I see a lot more opportunities than the temporary setback that is there currently.
Right. For Vikash, how important is safety? And how do you build that trust among your customers about that safety is here? They don't want to venture out of their homes. How do you build that trust around safety?
Yeah, that's again a very, very important question, Ruel. So first of all, even if today you want to start your office and start functioning again, first of all, you have to define the capacity that, let's say, I want to call 50% or 60% of the people to come to the office. That's point number one, that whether you are prepared or not. But the second key question is whether the employees are they feeling safe to come to your workplace or not. And that's where the psychological things come into the picture. And to provide that sort of feeling of security, so to say, you have to come up with various solutions. As I said, the first solution is that how frequently you are going to sanitize your washroom or your cafeteria area, which is high risk areas, so to say. So how frequently the sanitation is happening inside the workspace. That's point number one. How you are maintaining the social distancing and things like that. In case any outbreak happens inside the premise, how much are you prepared with the medical facility and things like that. So most of the companies, even if they want to start today functioning, and a lot of them have already started functioning out of the office, you have to be ready with a certain SOP, that these are the 10 to 20 points I have to take care of. Starting from the reception, the person enters into the premise, to the the last hour when he or she is leaving out of the office.
Right.
Right.
For Sam, there's a question for you around technology. Since everyone is currently on work from home, is there any kind of family-oriented tech which is easing out the process, or might build to monitor home once office start working in future?
I'm sorry, I'm not aware of any such
Okay.
family-oriented tech as such.
Okay.
But working from home, to just add to the previous question that Udit had asked, Avengers there is a statement that Asgard is not the place, it is the people, right? See, mine is a product which can absolutely work from home. People can work from anywhere because we are a completely 100% online product, and deployment, support, everything is online. But what we have realized is that office is a place that, bonds people, that anchors people. We have, dilly-dallied with, and we have dabbled with the thought that, hey, this is great. We can work from anywhere, right? Goa, Shimla, wherever you want to work from. But then we realized, no, we just can't give up that office, because when people think about work, when they think about the company, when they think about the team, they need a place that, they think about. So that's something I thought of putting in the previous question. I'm doing it now.
Right. Udit, to you, what is your advice to clients who are working in this, these tough times, for example? How do you, what do you have to tell them to maintain that, that hold with their stakeholders? What can they do to enable that constant relationship, constant touch base with their stakeholders?
Hello.
Yes.
Sorry, I was logged off. There was some
Sorry.
internet problem.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So the
what was the
question
question?
The question is, what would your advice to people to stay in touch and build that trust, with their stakeholders in these tough times?
So my only advice right now for everybody is to keep breathing. This is the most important time, and we all have to keep abreast with what is happening, because every day is a new day for us, right? We don't know what's going to unfold, but one thing is for sure, things will change, right? And my only advice would be keep communicating, whether it is with your internal team, whether it is with your external team. Now, today it is also important for us to communicate within the team, right? Because all of us are working from home. There's a lot of pressure. There are a lot of demands which are coming in from the customer side, client side, and teams, younger lot try to they don't know what to do exactly. So it is important for us as vertical heads, as in the, as thought leaders, to talk to the team and influence them, and keep motivating them. So that is again a part of communication. So internal communication is very important, whether it is whether the company is small or whether the company is big, right? The second is communicate with your stakeholders. This is not the time to stop communicating. This is the time to do more communication, right? Because this is the time when the stakeholders look at to you as how brands are behaving right now. So only advice is communicate.
Perfect. I'm so sorry, we are out of time and we have a lot of questions. I will try to send it to you through email and maybe get them addressed. I would like to thank all of you for joining us for this wonderful session and look forward to many more. Thanks once again for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Everyone.
Jai Hind.
Thank you, all of you. Thank you, guys. Thanks.
Thank you. Appreciate
Thank
the
you.
session. Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.